my interpretation of how to play RAPSTAR by Polo G on the guitar. Before we get started, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button so I can keep making these videos for you all. And I'm going to show you two ways to play it. I'll show you with and without the capo, so if you don't have a capo, stick around, that's alright. I'll show you how to play it. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first with the capo on fret number 6. So basically, you're just going to play a very simple little line here. Don't overthink this one, otherwise it'll get confusing. So all you need to do is set your middle finger on that second fret of the D string. So second fret relative to the capo. And you're going to pluck the D string, then the G, then the B. So you got, okay. Then you're going to come back to the G. So you got, okay. Following that, you got just 2 plucks on the B. So all that. All right. Following me so far? Okay. Back to the G. Then we got, so you're going to pluck B, hammer first fret, and then pull off. Alright, so after you pluck, hammer, pull off, you're going to pluck, you're going to set your middle finger down on second fret of the G, pluck, and then pull off to open G. Alright, so that's the entire first piece of the riff. So we've got one more time, a little slower. Alright, now we got to go up here and play a little triad chord. So your ring finger is going to set down, let's see, what is that? That's 5th fret on the G, 5th fret from the capo. So you're going to set your ring finger down, 5th fret of the G, pinky right underneath that, 5th fret of the B. And then index finger sets here on 3rd fret of the high E. And you're going to play a simple, just walk up that chord. So you pluck the G, the B, and the high E. Okay. Now if you take a look at where your ring finger is, it's fairly close to where it needs to be for the next chord. So the next chord, you're just going to move your ring finger up 1 string so that it's on the 5th fret of the D. Okay. Then you're going to take your middle finger, set it on the 4th fret of the G index, 3rd fret of the B. And what you're going to do here is just strum that chord, just those 3 strings, the D, the G, and the B. And when I played the intro, I hit a little bit of that high E. I think that's acceptable. It still sounds kind of cool. If you get a little bit of that high E in there, it's not a problem. So after you strum that chord, you've got to do a little arpeggiation. So you're just plucking the D, B, G, D, G. A little slower. One more time. Alright. So now we're going to repeat the riff, but before we do that, let's just practice all of that, what we just learned, real slow. So we've got Alright, so that's the first piece. Second piece is pretty much exactly the same as all that, but with a couple of slight variations. So we're going to start it out kind of the same. back to the G. So we got, okay. Now we do a slower hammer-on pull-off on the B. Then back to open G. So that's the variation. So I'll play that real slow. All right. Then we go to that same triad chord we have up here, ring finger 5th fret of the G. Then the same triad chord we had there, ring finger 5th fret of the D. Okay, so that time we do not follow it up with any arpeggiation like we did the first time. So both parts together real slow. So that should be a real easy way to play it with the capo. Okay, so now without the capo. So without the capo, it's all the same notes, but you've got to do a little more work with the index finger for the first chord. So your ring finger now is going to set down on the, what is that, 8th fret of the D, and index finger is going to bar across the 6th fret of the G and the B. All right, so you've got, all right, so one more time. Now when you do your hammer on, you're just leaving that bar down so that you're holding down B and then hammering 7th fret. Then you take your ring finger, pluck the, set it down on the 8th fret of the G, and then pull off again to 6th fret. So just leave that bar down. Okay. Then we come up to that triad chord. So your ring finger is on the 11th fret of the G, pinky 11th fret of the B, index finger 9th fret of the high E, and you just arpeggiate the chord from the G. And then you take your ring finger, hop it up one string, so your 11th fret of the D, middle finger 10th fret of the G, index finger 9th fret of the B. And then you just strum from the D through the B. Then you do the arpeggiation. And I think on the recording it sounds kind of like he gets all the way back to that note. But when I'm playing it, I kind of like to just go, just get to the root note and then start over, right? Just makes it a little easier and it still sounds good. But that's up to your taste and your interpretation. So far, here's what we got. All right. Now, second time through, that slight variation, we've got sorry, I played that too fast. So the second time through, the hammer-on pull-off is slower. So you've got, right? It's more straight ahead, slower. And then instead of plucking ring finger here, you're going right back to the G. So you got. Same triad here, and then same triad there. So, and then you don't do the arpeggiation. You don't do that part the second time. So it's just two alternating parts. So here's what we got. We'll play the whole thing. So we got. right, is that making sense? So basically, you're doing the same riff 2 times with just slight variation in the hammer-on speed. And then the first time you do the arpeggiation on that. First time you do the arpeggiation, second time you don't. So one more time just for good measure. Right? All right, so that should be all the pieces to the puzzle. Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.